Hello, hello, and welcome. Thank you for your patience. As you can imagine, today's story is really pivotal in the changing of the tide of the United States. And I just want to say that it did take me some time to pull a lot of this together. As you'll notice, I did change the time at least twice and then still didn't make it on time because of how pressing this is. I really don't know where to start, you guys. So I think what we'll do is we'll just start. I'm just going to pick one of the pieces that I had to pull together today, and we'll all work it out together. And I thank you in advance for your um, patience with this. Let me start by saying what's going on right now in the United States is all connected. And I know that with the brilliance of those who are here, you'll agree every single bit of this is connected. There is not one piece that's happened in the United States recently that has nothing to do with the other one. Does that make sense? Every single thing that we're looking at right now has something to do with another piece, even down to the P. Diddy piece. And then biblically, I'm going to show you that. We're going to use some biblical text today. It's almost impossible for us not to. And here's why I would not be doing you any justice if I did not show you the connected dots. Now, you do with it what you choose, you accept it or not, but you just cannot deny the correlation. And we're not looking at anything in Revelation or anything creepy like that at all. We're just going to look at how each and every one of the pieces of what we're about to read today and look over together today, even down to the man who owns the ship that ran into the bridge. This is very important because what it tells us significantly is it symbolizes the real life metaphor of the United States and its collapse. That's exactly what we're looking at right now. Each thing interconnected to one another. Every piece that we've seen from the immigrants coming over from Venezuela and have overrun New York to those same type of people that are overrunning Chicago and Los Angeles. Every single piece that we're going to look at today is climactic, but definitely not the end, but it is climactic in the scheme of things with destroying the very infrastructure of this nation. The names are significant, the coordinates are significant. If you are on the headlines for the Voice channel, you'll see that the thumbnail outlined the coordinates of this very place. Every single piece must be noticed. And then after we notice that, we've got to decide what we're going to do with that information on a personal level, right? Because it's not enough for us to go from one live to the next live to the next live and see what everybody has to say on their channel and then do absolutely nothing, which is what I know a lot of you guys are not down for, right? You guys have family and friends and members of your family that you said things to and they wasn't down for it. And all of a sudden, to their downfall, here it comes after you've warned them. So let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. First of all, Francis Scott Key. Francis Scott Key, as we already know, is the man who wrote the Star Spangled, the national anthem. Okay, he wrote the national anthem. He was born on August 1st, 1779, in Frederick County, Maryland, United States. Now, here's the thing: his family emigrated here from England, as most of those folks back in that time did. What this is telling us is all of that is old and gone, and they are destroying the very infrastructure of what then was built. As you know, this particular bridge was built specifically over that body of water because at that time there was only one way to get in or out of there, and they could only get one ship in or out. So they built this. Few important pieces I want you guys to take notes on from an educational standpoint. That's where we're coming from with this video, because today we will be using a lot of information that does not belong to the Felicia Lockhart Group LLC. I want to put that out there right now. We are letting you know right now that this is covered under the Copyright Act of 1976. Why? Because we will be using this information for educational purposes. We will be using this information today because I got to share this with you guys. So they took a video of mine down that was put up 2 years ago, and it was called "What is Patriotism?" They took that down. So I've got to let you know that every single thing you're about to see here is used under the guise of fair use for the purposes that are illustrated in 107 of the 1976 Fair Use Act. Okay. So going back, the significance of the names. The first thing I want to point out to you, besides Mr. Francis Scott Key, it goes all the way down to the money, baby. This whole thing goes all the way down to the money. I want to show you guys this story, and I want you to read along with me. In 2023, there was an interstate that was hit, and it was very significant because people were not able to get through for weeks and weeks. And originally, what they said after this happened was, we don't know when it's going to be able to get through. And so, what happened, to my own knowledge, is that people in that area began to say, hey, yo, wait a minute. No, they began to blast this thing on the internet. They began to blast it on Twitter, well, now X. And they began to say, there's no way you're going to hold us up like this. We cannot get in or out. There's another piece, and I'm gonna dance, you guys. I gotta dance around because it's just like all this information hit me at once this morning. Memories of things that I had, stories that I was already working on, pieces that I was already putting together and kept scratching my head, not knowing where they come. And here goes the culmination. The 2023 Interstate 95 highway collapse. If you guys remember hearing that, please let me know. Okay? Please let me know. The interstate collapse on June 11th. I need you all who have the ears to hear and the heart to know, please focus in on the times, the dates, the numbers, and everything, because I want to show you sometimes things that look like an accident. Baby, don't you know sometimes it's not? Sometimes it ain't. I'm here to tell you that. So as we look at this, we see that there was this incident on June 11, 2023. A tanker truck carrying gasoline lost control while it was attempting to exit the highway and caught fire under the overpass carrying Interstate 95, I-95 at the Pennsylvania Route 73, PA 73 Cotman Avenue, the interchange into Coney neighborhood of the Northeast Philadelphia. The extreme heat caused the northbound lanes to collapse and damaged the southbound lanes, resulting in a roughly 9 or 14-kilometer closure of both directions on I-95 between Betsy Ross. There are no accidents. Remember the focus, the collapsing of the infrastructure of the U.S. That's where we're headed. So everything I'm talking about is going to head there. And we're going to dance around again. It's not going to just be fluid and then we're going to match this. No, we're going. So it was between Armingo Avenue and PA 63, Woodhaven Road, exit 63. After emergency construction of a temporary roadway, traffic resumed June 23rd, less than 2 weeks after the fire. But prior to that, what this is not saying is that they were telling everybody, oh, it could be done. It could be down for a long time. Oh, we don't know how long it's going to be. Oh, it'll be a good amount of time before it's back up and running. And we just don't know. And it's just going to take some. Them folks got on Twitter. Those people started to complain. They started to blast. Hey, how are we getting to work? How are we getting our goods? How are our things coming in or out? Well, you can't just leave us like this. Some of us are stranded. What's up? So a similar incident was seen in 2007 where a large fire caused the collapse of a connector in the MacArthur Maze in Oakland, California. MacArthur Maze. Look at the names. And in 2017, a large fire collapsed on the overpass that was a part of I-85 in Atlanta, Georgia. I remember that specifically. I was still living in Atlanta or in a suburb of Atlanta at the exact same time that this happened. And they said it was a homeless man who had caught like some tires or something on fire or a chair, something he was sitting on. But it took a whole bridge full of rebar, all types of concrete that was made by engineers who knew how to create things to withstand heat. This one homeless man who later went to jail for it and was let out after he was, represented by a very famous lawyer, he was able to take the whole entire overpass down there in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, it's important to note, and I'm glad I've told people this, because in 2014, I got a vision while on a highway that the way that they were going to begin to take this country down, and I'm saying it because I've said it to people and I have witnesses. I said, I saw a vision, and the vision that I saw was they were going to take us down by transportation, by hitting bridges with trucks. I saw it. I said, trucks transportation, the highways. I said, that's how they're going to do it. And some people listened, and it went over their head. Others remember it to a T. This is that. Now, I'm going to close this out. And you know what, you guys, these notes are going to be heckified if you guys want to carry them all. Let me go ahead and put this on a sticky note now so that I have that for you. Copy it and put it over here, because at the end of the show, sometimes I'm not even to remember unless I go through my history of what it was that we were covering. So let me go ahead and put this here, create a new note right there. All right. So that at least that way we have it. All right. So we got that one. I have to collapse this because I have too many tabs open. And thank you guys for being with us today. Thank you so very much. There's also a video that I want to show you guys that I put together today, and I want you to look at very closely at how the bridge went down, which I'm sure some of you have already done that, how it went down, and who owned that particular ship. That's important. Everything's important. All right, so hold on. Okay. Let me go here to live and get you guys up and running here. Thank you for your patience with my silence. I remember my days of radio, they used to say that silence was death to the disc jockey. And they was right. And it's the same thing with this. All right, so we got that done. Now let me go over to the other channel and do that too. So you guys have everything at the same time. I want everything to be in succinct. Hey, thank you guys for watching that Houdini video the other day. For those who understand, you knew what I meant. There's a purpose when I do some stories, and sometimes you don't see me here because not every story is worth jumping on, to include what I was about to do this morning, which was about Mr. P. Diddy himself. The P. Diddy story is a distraction, but it is a necessary thing. It is something very necessary, but it's definitely a distraction. Why do you say that, Felicia? I say that because if you really want to look at it and you really want to understand what's up, you would not be paying attention to this if this was all, if listening to hip hop was all you was into. If all you was into was hip hop, you wouldn't be tripping at all on this. And a lot of people aren't. They're like, oh, gee whiz, that's so terrible. This happened. All right. All right, let me get out of this because I need to get out of here. I'm in the studio. I need to get out of that. Here we go. Do you guys understand that this has everything to do with the money? Let me get in here. My mind is moving, y'all, and I apologize, but I don't know. Let me give you this story right here. We're going to look at this piece. We're going to look at the actual cargo ship itself. So we're going to read what we already know. A container ship lost power and rammed into a major bridge in Baltimore early Tuesday, causing the span to buckle into the river below and plunging a construction crew and several vehicles into the dangerously cold waters. Rescuers pulled out 2 people, but 2 times 6. But 6 others were missing. The ship's crew issued a mayday call moments before the crash took down the Francis Scott Key Bridge, enabling authorities to limit vehicle traffic on the span, Maryland's governor said. The ship struck one of the bridge's supports, causing the structure to collapse like a toy. It tumbled into the water in a matter of seconds, a shocking spectacle that was captured on video and posted on social media. The vessels caught fire and thick black smoke billowed out of it. Listen closely to what I'm saying. With the ship barreling toward the bridge at a very, very rapid speed, authorities had just enough time to stop cars from coming over the bridge, the Maryland governor said. These people are heroes. They saved lives last night. The crash happened long before the busy morning commute on the bridge, which stretches 2.6 kilometers. The 6 people still unaccounted for were a part of a construction crew filling potholes on the bridge, said Paul Whitefield, the state's transportation secretary, and one of those rescued was taken to the hospital. Quote, never would you think that you would physically see the Key Bridge tumble like that. It looked like something out of an action movie, he said. An unthinkable tragedy is what he called it. The collapse is almost sure to create a logistical nightmare for months, if not years, along the East Coast, shutting down ship traffic at the port of Baltimore and snarling cargo and commuter traffic. Here's what Senator Johnny Ray Sulling said. Losing this bridge will devastate the entire area as well as the entire East Coast. Highway signs as far as Virginia warn drivers of the delays associated with the closure of the bridge. Authorities said sonar had detected vehicles in the water, which is about 50 feet or 15 meters deep. The water temperature was 47 degrees Fahrenheit, 8 degrees Celsius, before dawn on Tuesday, according to a buoy that collects data for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Earlier, Kevin Cartwright, the director of communications for the Baltimore fire, told the Associated Press that several vehicles were on the bridge at the time of the collapse, including one the size of a tractor trailer truck. The bridge came down in the middle of the night when traffic would be lighter than during the day when thousands of cars whew, traverse the span. Energy Marine Group, Synergy, Synergy Marine Group, which manages the ship called the Dali, confirmed the vessel hit a pillar of the bridge at about 1:30 a.m. while in control of one or more pilots who are local specialists who navigate the vessels safely into ports. The ship is owned by Grace Ocean Private Ltd. But look at what I saw. Oh, well, no, let me finish this. Then I want to show you some conflicting stories about that. Okay, now it said that all crew members, including the two pilots on board, were accounted for, and there were no reports of any injuries, so that's a good thing. The ship was moving at 8 knots, roughly 9 miles an hour, or 14.8 kph, kilometers per hour, the governor said. As the sun rose on Tuesday, as the sun rose on Tuesday, jagged remnants of the bridge could be seen jutting up from the water surface. The on ramp abruptly where the span once began. Cartwright said that some cargo appeared to be dangling from the bridge, which spans the Patasco River at the entrance to a busy harbor. The river leads to the port of Baltimore, a major hub for shipping on the East Coast, opened in 1977. The bridge is named for the writer of the Star Spangled Banner. We all know that. Maryland Transportation Secretary Paul Wyfield said the vessel traffic into and out of the port would be suspended until further notice, though the facility was still open to trucks. The governor declared a state of emergency and said he was working to get federal resources deployed. The FBI is on the scene, but said there was no credible information to suggest terrorism. President Joe Biden was briefed, but at the time that I put this up or let you guys know that we would be going live, I had not seen him say anything about it. I apologize if he said something thus far. Somebody in the chat let me know. I'm not on that side to see your comments. But if you do know that he says something, let me know. Because at the time that I put this up, he hadn't said a word, not one peep. Now, the Dolly was headed from Baltimore to Colombia, Sri Lanka, and flying under a Singapore flag, according to data from the marine traffic. The container ship is about 300 meters or 985 feet long, with about 157 feet or 48 meters wide, according to the website. Now, Danish shipping giant Maersk said that it had chartered the vessel. No Maersk crew and personnel were on board, however. The collapse caused Maersk's share at the NASDAQ Copenhagen to plummet 2% in early Tuesday trading. Last year, the Port of Baltimore recorded a 52.3 million tons of foreign cargo worth $80 billion, according to the state. In addition to cargo, more than 444,000 passengers cruised out of the port in 2023. Now, the story has been corrected to show that Grace Ocean Pacific owns the ship, not Synergy Marine Group. But that's not what I saw. What I have here is not them. Let me, because I got 1,000 tabs. I wish I could show you guys. And you can't rename them. If you guys let me know if you can rename these tabs once you put them up, because I wish I knew how to do it if you could. Here's the guy that owns it. This is Captain Rajesh Uni, according to what I was able to find this morning, is the person who owns it. That's who owns it, according to what I was able to find. Now let me give this to you. Because when I put in, listen, when I put in who owns it, I didn't get this other company. When I put in who owns it, it was this dude. All right. And today is 2024. That's what it said today, 2024, that this man is who owned it. Here you go. Let me show you who he is. And I love the rain. We've had rain all night long, although it is sort of concerning. Okay. Here you go. This is the dude they say owns it. Originally today, because I asked who owned the ship, it said Synergy Group. Then I said, who are the major players? Who is the head of it? It was this company, Synergy Group. So I'm going to read the information that I have. And if there are any corrections that need to be made, count it to my head, not my heart. Because there's another company they say owns it. But this is what it showed this morning. Profile of the gentleman, Captain Rajesh Uni, the founder and CEO of Synergy Group. Uni's holistic approach to ship management makes Synergy unique. Tell us about your background and education? Well, I hail from the southern state of India. My father was a government employee and my mother stayed at home parent. Like many Indians before the globalization period, we belonged to the middle class. My younger brother and I never lacked necessities, but we were not raised affluent. Today, I run a successful company, but I've never forgotten my roots and continue to remain grateful for my value-based upbringing. Now, what attracted you to maritime history? Necessity. The financial situation in my house was not improving. Being the eldest, I felt duty bound to help my family and decided to start working immediately. In those days, the merchant navy was a lucrative profession. So after finishing school, I went to sea as a cadet with Univan Ship Management, a Hong Kong-based ship management company. While working, I earned my industry certifications from LBS College of Advanced Maritime Studies and Research in Mumbai. From cadet to the third officer, second officer, and chief officer, I attained the rank of master in 1999 at the age of 26. I never imagined back then that I would end up spending most of my life in the maritime industry. Our industry is tough, but built on strong people bonds. Seafarers often share a special camaraderie, and the friendships you forge remain for a long time. I've been lucky to meet my mates through this profession. What inspired you to found Synergy? I've spent more than a decade in the ship management industry, and I found that despite high productivity level costs, the level of service was subpar. It was still subpar. The only way ahead was to continue to accept the norm or take a leap of faith and challenge the status quo. Along with a few like minded friends and the support of my mentor, Captain Kutsaya Abe, president of Nissan Quinn, a 120-year-old family run Japanese shipping company, and others, we decided to take the lead and set up the world class comprehensive technical ship management service based on openness, trust, and reliability. That philosophy was incorporated as Synergy Chennai, India in 2006. So now the name Synergy, when we're going to find out what it's about as far as this company is concerned. For us, it's always been about team and never about the individual. The sum of the knowledge, capital, and the talent is always greater than the individuals working independently. Synergy seemed the apt name for a company that believes in the collective efforts. Here's the deal. All of that Asia, all of that area, all of those areas are a part of the IMEUC. Yeah. So it's dealing with all the Indian, all of the Asian maritime, all of that. Remember the story that we covered in September that was dealing with the maritime corridor that was going to be coming through from Israel, coming straight in through to Asia? Here is my belief. My belief is all that we are seeing right now that's coming to the collapse of ships running into the this right here, what we're seeing here, and trucks running into certain things that are corridors, not to mention the fact that this particular bridge just got a boatload of money in the infrastructure plan that we just saw last Friday. A boatload of money, which is a good thing, right? Right on time. I mean, not saying that there's anything going on. I'm just saying that, hey, they'll be able to use those funds eventually, right? To help them to further this. All of this stuff is meant to change the entire land, the entire area, all of it. Here's my philosophy on this whole thing. This is my thought process. My thought process is you have now a need to no longer use certain waterways to bring in ships, to bring in anything that's going to be used here in the United States. This particular ship hitting this particular bridge is going to slow us down for ages. There are people who stand to make money from this. Lots of people. And there are companies as well as small businesses in that local area that will shut down undoubtedly because they're using the traffic that comes across to keep them afloat. Well, if the middleman is no longer there, which is usually middle America that has small businesses, those can go away. They don't care. There are large areas and large companies, I should say, that will stand to gain, from construction companies to metal companies to everything. Now we'd have to look into see to follow the money. To be fair and follow the money, we would have to know each and every one of those companies that are going to gain financially, unfortunately, because of this. We got to keep our minds in the right place, and that is to follow the money. So now we see who he is. All right, this is him. Let me make it a little bigger. Do you guys not understand that there is some significance to certain individuals always being at the helm of everything financial here in the United States lately? I hope we are getting this. The United States is done. Now the new cats are actually putting in place what they want right in front of us. Right in front of us, even down to New York playing a huge role into this. Listen, just recently, we see that individuals that are in New York are ravaging it. They're ravaging it. They're pillaging. They're taking over homes. They're taking people's houses, squatting in them, and then the people who own the house get arrested. All of this is connected. All of New York, some parts, especially the areas that there were, Hispanics, lower median income whites and blacks in those areas. Those areas are the places that are being overrun by these illegal aliens. Keeping that in mind, you'd have to ask yourself, why is this being allowed to happen? And why are they funding it so greatly? They're funding it because of the purpose of clearing out that area for it to be at the end of this maritime corridor that's coming from Israel. This is my idea. This is what I'm saying. Nobody told me this. But wouldn't it stand to reason that the only way for us to have any idea of Babylon falling is if it had some great maritime financial gain? Think about it. All of New York, the specific areas we're talking about, is being ravaged. So what's going to happen? More and more people are going to jump ship and run out. They're all going to leave. And when they leave, because they can't even build any new houses, that's okay. Just bulldoze them down. And this whole entire area is going to look just like Tyre in the Bible. This whole entire area is going to be exactly like Corinth, a port city. And what was going on in the port cities? There was worshiping of all of their different gods. There was money being exchanged. There were financial things that were happening from one side to the other. They were bringing things from afar off all the way in. This was a very corrupt area. Any port city is always going to have corruption. You look at the history, it's going to have corruption. They're clearing this area out so that they can put it all together. Now, in 40 years when I'm not here, If one of your grandbabies is here, maybe they'll remember this. Maybe you could share it with somebody else. But I guarantee you this is strategic in the plan that the United States, that is in agreement with this particular maritime corridor, with Netanyahu, is all a part of the same thing. Let me come over to this side for a second so that I can see where we're going here. We've got more information that I want to show you guys. First of all, let me greet all of you. I see a lot of you here. Let's take a break. We've been at it for 30 minutes. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to look at the barbecue video. And after we look at the barbecue video, we're going to come right back, okay? So let's take a quick break. First of all, I want you to see this, because this is what I have here. Let me remove this. Did anybody see the movie Leave the World Behind? Did anybody see the movie Leave the World Behind? Because if you did, this movie is playing out what we're seeing right here in part. Not all, but in part. All right, so let me add this to the stage. Let me take him off, and let me give this to you guys so you can see the commercial, and then after that, I'll show you the other.
Hey everyone, it's me, Felicia, of the Lockhart Perspective and Headlines with a Voice. I want to tell you a little secret. This is what I used to do, because I don't do it anymore. I would go to the store, buy the barbecue sauce, pour it inside of a bowl, put a whole bunch of different spices, a dash of brown sugar, a dash of maple, and a dash of mustard, stir it all around, and everybody would be like, oh my gosh, this is the best, this is the best. But I was exhausted after all of that, and a lot of times I couldn't remember how many dashes of what I put in it. But I don't have to do that anymore, because now I just go to Judge Joe Brown's website and I order his 3-pack of bottled barbecue sauce. It is by far the best, and I do mean the best barbecue sauce I've ever eaten. And when you go to his website and you order his 3-pack, you'll see exactly what I mean. Head on over to jjbbbbq.com and order Judge Joe Brown's barbecue sauce. You'll be glad you did, and you're going to tell me about it. I know you will.
So for those of you who already ordered some of his barbecue, I know you agree with me now. You know I ain't a fibber. It's some good stuff, isn't it? All right. So now we're going to look right now, because remember I told you there I'd be a cuckoo bird not to show you the significance of what's going on biblically. I'd be a cuckoo bird to avoid that. And I cannot avoid it. For those of you who would be offended by anything biblical, I respect you and I understand. If you'd like to click off now and come back, I appreciate you and I get it. But I have to share this because I would be remiss if I did not. This is the proclamation against Tyre. Now, a lot of people hear me quote that passage from Revelation 18 that says, Babylon is fallen. This is where that passage came from. And it came to pass in the 11th hour on the first day of the month that the word of Yah came to me, saying, Son of man, because Tyre has said against Jerusalem, Aha, she is broken. Now listen, please understand that not every place you see that the Khazars are, that ain't necessarily saying they belong to Yah. I'm just going to put that out there. And you know what? I can take the hit. So if y'all want to hit me. But that's what I'm going to say. So because Tyre has said against Jerusalem, Aha, she is broken, who was the gateway of the peoples. Now she is turned over to me, and I shall be fulfilled. She is laid waste. Therefore, thus saith Yah, behold, I am against you, O Tyre, and will cause many nations to come against you, as the sea causes its waves to come up. And they shall destroy the walls of Tyre and break down her towers. And I will also scrap her dust from her and make her like the top of a rock. And it shall be a place for spreading nets in the midst of the sea, for I have spoken, says the Lord Yah. It shall become plunder for nations. Pay attention. Also, her daughter villages, which are in the field, shall be slain by the sword. Then they shall know that I am Yah, I am the Lord. For thus saith the Lord God, and I'm just going to read it straight through from here on, okay, as it's written. For thus says the Lord God, behold, I will bring against Tyre from the north Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, the king of kings, with horses and chariots, with horsemen, and an army with many people. He will slay with the sword of your daughters villages in the field. He will heap up a siege mound against you. A mound. Mounds are very important. Will build a wall against you and raise a defense against you. He will direct his battering rams against your walls, and with his axes he shall break down your towers. Because of the abundance of his horses, their dust will cover you. Your walls will shake at the noise of the horsemen, the wagons and the chariots, when he enters your gates as men enter a city that has been breached. With the hooves of his horses, he will trample all your streets. He will slay your people by the sword, and your strong pillars will fall to the ground. They will plunder your riches and pillage your merchandise. They will break down your walls and destroy your pleasant houses. Let's stop. They will plunder your riches. Anybody in the chat want to tell me, have you seen any riches being plundered? Have you seen anybody running into the stores, smashing and grabbing out Louis Vuitton, Gucci, YSL? Has anybody seen that? They will destroy your pleasant houses. Has anybody seen this woman who just had her house taken over by squatters from other places, where they arrested her when she went in and say, "Hey, yo, wait a minute. I ain't been gone but a minute. This is my mama's house. Who are you? What you doing here?" And the police arrested her. Oh, Babylon is falling. It's falling. Yeah, Babylon going down. Already down. Because the new people who own it is doing reconstruction in your face. So pillage your merchandise. They will break down your walls and destroy your houses. What did we just see the other day? Breaking down the walls. What did we just see with them batteramming by human beings going and pushing down the fences and the walls and pushing through and coming in? Ooh. I will put an end to the sound of your songs. You ain't hear no more songs being played down there in New York right now. You remember how they used to all be in the underground right there where the trains go in and out and the subways playing their music, the songs? They'd have people out there playing the guitar, making a little bit of money. Yeah. The sounds of your song and the sounds of your heart shall be heard no more. A lot of people down there with the violins and all kinds of stuff. Now, what do they have? Allegedly, they have the National Guard down there, superseding the police, who are supposed to be if you need any help down there. But that's a psyop. It's a total great way for them to show you how to get ready for martial law, because they have to soften the mind. It can't just be on the television. They have to soften the mind in real time, because when you take over an area and you got to get people conditioned for their own safety to be in the house at a certain time, or these dudes who are going to be replaced in a minute, they ain't gonna look like you and me. They're gonna be looking like the mother cats. But I digress. I will make you like the top of a rock. You shall be a place for spreading nets, and you shall never be rebuilt. For I, the Lord, have spoken, says the Lord God. Thus says the Lord God to Tyre, will the coastlands not shake at the sound of your fall? When the wounded cry and when slaughter is made in the midst of you, then all the princes of the sea shall come down from their thrones, lay aside their robes and take off their embroidered garments. They will clothe themselves with trembling. They will sit on the ground, tremble every moment, and be astonished at you. Oh, look at them. And they will take up lamentations for you, and they'll say, oh, you have perished. Oh, one inhabited by seafaring men. Oh, renowned city, who was strong at sea. She and her inhabitants, who caused their terror to be on all her inhabitants. Now the coastlands tremble on the day of your fall. Yes, the coastlands by the sea are troubled at your departure. See, this is a progressive takeover, a progressive destruction of sorts. When I make you a desolate city. For thus saith the Lord God, when I make you a desolate city like the cities that are not inhabited, they're going to wipe all of them people that live in New York out. If you don't understand what I'm saying, baby, let me make it plain. And like my friend girl's daddy say, let me put it down here where the cows can get it. They're clearing it out. All of New York is going to be cleared. All of Los Angeles, California. California is going to be cleared, especially the coastal areas, because they need your space. So the only way to get your space, since y'all ain't moved, is to make it happen. Now you ain't gonna be able to get back and forth across that bridge. No goods are gonna get back and forth across that bridge. Nobody's gonna be able to get back and forth across that bridge. And if you can't get across that bridge to get to work, you ain't got no job. Eventually, stuff gonna play out. You're not gonna move any merchandise across there. No, you're not. No, you're not. Small guys, done. Yeah. For thus saith the Lord God, when I make you a desolate city like the cities that are not inhabited, when I bring the deep upon you and the great waters cover you. Wouldn't that happen out there in San Francisco and all the Northern California areas just recently? They were having unbelievable high tides that resembled almost like a tsunami of sorts, even though it was not that dramatic at all. But it was covering a lot of land, wasn't it? It was covering a lot of houses, wasn't it? Hmm. It'll get different. It'll get worse. Trust and believe me, it's got to before. It's just like when you're redecorating a bathroom. You say it, you got to change it, and then all of a sudden you say, "Well, let me go ahead and hire somebody to come in and fix it." And when they come in, they destroy it, and you're looking like, "Wow, this is terrible." Well, after that, it's going to look better. I hope you hear me. I hope you hear me. Then I will bring you down with those who descend into the pit, to the people of old, and I will make you dwell in the lowest part of the earth, and the places desolate from antiquity, with those who go down to the pit, so that you may never be inhabited. Not that area with you, that's all going to be commerce. Every single area down there is going to be commerce, because every port city is commerce based. Every port city is commerce. There ain't no reason for a port city not to be commerce. Everything down there going to be owned by the same conglomerate, by the same companies. Everything down there, from the pizza shop that the people who coming through come to eat, is going to be owned by one big conglomeration, one big company, one big conglomerate. If you want to go buy something that says "Welcome to New York" or "Welcome to Baltimore" or "Welcome to wherever," it's all going to be owned by the same company. Why? Because they need that money. Yeah, said that like that. I will. It says, so that you may never be inhabited, and I shall establish glory in the land of the living. I will make you a terror. I will make you a terror, and you shall be no more. Though you are sought for, though people will forlong and people will remember, you're going to be sought for, but you're not going to be no more. You will never be found again, not in this state. No, you won't. If we go over, this is going to be the last biblical context that we're going to use for those who are a little upset about it. It's okay. All righty. Yeah. So let's start here at verse 12, Ezekiel 27. The last one was Ezekiel 26, and we're going to be done with this and going over to the next. Tarshish was thy merchant by reason of the multitude of all kind of riches, with silver, iron, and tin, and lead. And they traded in thy fairs, Javan, Tubal, and Meshach, which are all of them are who? Who are they? Tubal, Meshach, Javan. Who is that? I was asked that question earlier. Here's the answer. All of them are the sons of Japheth. Who are the sons of Japheth now? Who are the Khazars? Javan, Tubal, and Meshach, they are thy merchants. They traded the persons of men and vessels of brass in thy market. They of the house of Torgarma traded their fares in thy fairs with horses, horsemen, mules. The men of Dedan were thy merchants. Many isles were the merchandise of thine hand. They bought thee for a present horns of ivory and ebony, Syria was thy merchant by reason of the multitude of the wares of thy making. They occupied the fairs with emeralds, purple, embroidered work, and fine linen and coral. We're talking about all the finery, all of the finery. See, there's not going to be no middle, baby. The middle is going to be gone. I'm taking back a little bit from this, but the middle going to be gone. And it's going to be the upper and the po broke. The people who are the useful idiots that are being placed in these cities right now are only there to scare out the inhabitants, only there to ravage the inhabitants, only there to move them on out of the way. And then they're going to have something for them too. They're going to have this. This is not the first time this has been done. And I hate to say this for people who may get offended, but you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right if you get offended. It's the same exact way. They had that movie. I think it wasn't Us. It was another movie. Them, I think, where you show Compton back in the day where the first black family moved in the land. I hate to say it like this, but I can only use because, hey, they use the same exact tactics. I'm sorry. They use the same tactics. It's not me. I promise. I promise. When they moved the first black folk in the families in those communities, they knew that they had to break up the communities. So they had to make them one. Do you understand? Do you really get it? They had to make the communities one and allow them to deal with the arguments and the fights after they put the first one in there. From redlining that area, putting them in anyway, making them pay more money, even than the counterparts that were Anglo that lived there at that time. Do you see what I'm trying to tell you? Do you see the juxtaposition? I hope that you do, and don't take it all personal and don't get off on, oh, she said she against the black folk. I ain't against nobody unless you against my creator, and then it's me and you, right? We done with each other, right? Okay, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the fact that this is not the first time that this has happened. You know, elephants are afraid of mice. They're bringing in the mice to run off the elephants. But they brought in the mice to run off the elephants a long time ago, and they're bringing in big mice now to run off the new elephant. See what I did there? Okay. All right. I'm glad you do. So basically, while we're looking at all of the biblical passages, you can go with these for yourself. I'm going to put this down below on the notes, and those are going to be able, for those who want to use them, you can. For those who do not, that's fine too. But I again have to bring it to you. Thy roarers, here's the destruction. Thy roarers have brought thee into great waters. In the east wind hath broken thee in the midst of the seas. This is all dealing with maritime. Please get that piece. Everything is dealing with maritime. Remember the video that we did where Netanyahu was standing up saying, we'll have a maritime corridor that'll take us straight from here all the way to the west, all the way into Asia. This is that. It looks like it's a bad situation, but it was all planned. Look at the coordinates. Now, Betsy Ross, let me show you guys something. Okay, I don't even want to go into this. I think I'm going to make this another video because it's just too much information for anybody. And I don't want to overwhelm you guys with some information, but I have some information that shows that originally this particular bridge was over a body of water. Let me just get it for you. Y'all ain't crazy people. You guys are very smart. You're brilliant. So it's not going to harm you. I know you guys are ready for this. So let me go on ahead and get it. Let me just get this. I have something that's dealing specifically with Betsy Ross. And again, we're using all the names. Let me just say this. I'm just going to say it because it's not going to be, I'm too excited for me to try to go through each and every one of these. But let me say this to you, and this will be my commentary piece. If you look at all the players that deal with this particular area, from the very beginning, from Francis Scott Key to who he was representing as an attorney. And I have to say it like this, you guys, because I'm too excited to go through each one of these. You guys, I'll put these down below in the description. I promise I will. I'll put them all together on this notepad, and then I'll put them together. And then I want you guys to do your own research because I'm too excited for me to actually go through each one of these and read them. I've got at least 12 tabs open. So let me just give you my synopsis. This particular body of water has some significance in that not only is it Francis Scott Key bridge. It's also a major thoroughfare. It also started out back when they could only get one ship, but it also has names that are significant, like Betsy Ross. Remember, we're talking about the foundation being taken over. We're talking about the infrastructure being shaken and changed. Okay. Betsy Ross, when you look this up with the notes that I'm going to leave you, you'll see Betsy Ross, a significant name. You'll also see Hamilton. You'll also find out that if you trace who it was that Mr. Francis Scott Key was defending, it was about money. And the money was, let's use, for example, a piece of this. The monies were not coming from the Rothschilds because Lincoln said, it's okay, we'll print our own, we'll do our own, we'll make our own. Isn't it amazing that this whole entire thing is dealing with money? Now, who was used at that particular time dealing with the money back then? Who was he having? Who did Hamilton have a duel with, and why? What was the duel all about? Who wanted to use the money here? Who always funds both sides of the war? Who always funds? I'm asking y'all the questions. Who always funds both sides of war? Who would stand to get upset if one cat says, it's okay, we don't need your money, we're going to print our own? So Lincoln said, it's okay, we good, we don't need it, we're all right. So they called one dude a traitor when he was actually not the traitor. I'm talking about the whole Hamilton situation. I'm talking about all that money that would have been made during that particular time, and how much somebody stood to lose if they weren't the ones that the money was coming from. I hope I'm talking to somebody. Yeah, y'all got it. Y'all got it. I'm seeing everybody in here. Absolutely right. I'm looking at all of y'all. You're absolutely right. I want you guys to take a look at the way that this was hit. Take a look at the way that this area was hit. So I put the video up here. Oh, so it's not here anymore? Huh. That's impossible. It's okay. I know where I put it. I know where I made it. So let me give it to you guys. So I want you guys to look at that. I want you to look at why they may have been upset back then and who it was that really killed who for what. Why was Hamilton's name even a part of this? And why is Hamilton even in the movie that I was referencing, Leave the World Behind? There are significant pieces that have something to do with that as well. Here's the video that I want to show you guys. It is not published, but I had to put it here on YouTube. I hope I still kept it. No, it's not on the studio. Let's go back. And you guys can watch it for yourselves. Content, it's not on headlines. It's on the Lockhart Perspective right here. Okay, I want you guys to look at this. Look at very closely as this bridge is hit. Look at it very closely. It's private. Let me go there on YouTube. Pause it. All right, you guys, I'm going to share this with you. All right. You see the way it was hit? Does that not look intentional? Not that it is. That's a main support beam. Now look at the vehicles. Let's look at that again. It's only 45 seconds. Let's look at it again. It's 47 seconds. Let's watch that again. Right there at the support beam. How's that an accident, dude? How do you got two mates on there that are leading us and you hit it like that? Huh. Huh. Go figure. Hmm. 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 Okay, so a lot of the information that you're going to see, you're going to that'll be down below in the description. You're going to look at Aaron Burr. You'll be looking at Hamilton. You will find out what was going on, why nobody wanted the Rothschilds' money, who did what, and how significant that is to the whole entire breaking of this current infrastructure. Every single inch of it has something to do with it. There's nothing that's not, even from, the greenbacks, the money that was the greenback, and why was that significant? All of this is telling you metaphorically that this is the collapse. That's what this is. It's not a bunch of other stuff that I can say about it. It's not a whole bunch of other things because you guys already know the deal. But that's what this is. There are so many container ships that are not going to be able to get through there right now. And we will see the fallout from this. We're definitely going to see the fallout without a doubt. Now, this river, remember I told you guys, and I'm going to give you this little bitty breadcrumb, and I want you guys to look at this. Okay, right about here. Everything's significant, even down to how many kilometers the whole how the kilometers, how the distance of that river that it was going over. And I think it's Patapsco. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Patapsco, the river, and the history of that river is very significant. Very significant. I believe that's where you're going to see Betsy Ross's name come in. If not there, I know it's going to be the other ship, that the other area that we saw that was hit. It was Betsy Ross that was hit back in June of 2023, June 11th, 2023, when they changed up. See, what they did is they always got a part one and a part two. If this don't work, then this gonna work. So when they hit that part of Virginia, when they hit that part last year, that was going in through Pennsylvania, I think it was, all that stuff that we just got to looking at. You guys correct me. But nonetheless, the reason why they had to do this is because they were probably going to do this anyway, but they pitched a fit last year. And they're probably going to pitch a fit this year if there's anybody who cares. Probably not. And what do I mean by that? I'm saying they're going to piss a fit because they do not want that area to be blocked off. But this, I don't think they're going to be able to bring this together like they did that highway last year. I don't think so. I think we've covered everything as far as my notes are concerned. However, here's what I'm going to do. The next several stories, which ironically are stories that I was already freaking working on, already freaking working on, all the way down to that entire mall in New York that's going to be shut down, that is right there dealing with their MTA, dealing with their transportation. That big old mall, that's all be for commerce. Every inch of that. They're saying they're closing it down because they're being people are breaking in and taking stuff and smashing and grabbing every inch of that. So what we're going to do is every one of the videos that I'm going to do that's going to follow up with this, I'm going to tag it. And you guys give me a name which you want me to tag it with, because I can't even think right now. I don't even know what to tag it with. Um, Maybe Tyre, Tyre. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll put that somewhere in description so you know that it goes with this. Because see, every single thing, one brick laid upon the other brick, all goes together. If you know, you know. If you can see it, you can see it. So I think maybe that's what we'll do. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Because I've got so many stories right now, you guys, that are just, it's amazing that this happened today. It is amazing that this happened today, because if you could just see the stories. I hope that's not thunder. Well, I mean, if it's thunder, that's fine. But what I just heard was like a shaking of the house. Hmm. Yeah, okay, you guys. I'm not going to belabor the time. We're already here. We've been here an hour, and there's so much that I could have said that I just don't even know where to start. This is amazing. What I sent was a longer video starting before the crash. Oh, hey, Don Oz, you sent a video. Okay, baby, let me go over here and see it. I don't want to. Let me make sure I show it. Okay. Thank you for that, Precious. Let me scroll down. I have to open up my business email to get it. Thank you guys for sending in videos and such. Okay, you got to see this. First, good day. Okay, hold on. Oh, there's an attachment. All right, let's open it. Open this. Oh, I have to download it first. Okay. Oh, I'll be interceding for you. Mm. Okay, so hold on. Let me go and look at this. Oh, oh, wow. Okay, let me see how to show this. Hold on. Maybe if I show it smaller. Thank you for this. This is good. Thanks. Um, hmm. If I close this down, will I be able to show it? No. I don't know how to show these from here unless I download it and then start it from there. Hold on, baby. Thank you for sending this again. Hold on. Don't go nowhere. I'm going to show it because you sent it and I really appreciate that. Okay. And it does show it. You're absolutely right. It is showing it from before then. Whoa. Okay. Here, you guys. I don't know how to show this without showing my email. I don't want to show it with you. Oh, here, I'll scroll it all the way up. No, I can't scroll it all the way up. If I make this smaller, maybe I can do it. I don't want to show your personal information and I don't know how to show it. Well, wait a minute. Don't confess that. You can figure this out. There. Duh. Okay. Let me pause this so we can see the video that she just sent. Present this. Present a window is what I'll need to do. Share. Okay. I don't know if you guys are going to see it dual or single, but let me start it. Can you guys see that? Oz, Oz, can you see this? Hey, King BJ. It's running, but I don't know if you all can see it. Okay. Do you see where she was showing us that it was beforehand? Let me go back. Look at this. Remember what I showed just showed hitting it. Look at where it's starting from. That's like they meant to do it in my impression. No lights on the ship, Teresa. Look at those 4 cars. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Where are the lights? That's bananas, right? That is bananas. Yes, it did, Oz. That's amazing. You guys, I want to look at it again because we'll look at it and see something different this time. No lights, absolutely none. Right into the main support beam. 978 feet takes a while to correct. That's from Robert. That is amazing. Look at the cars that are going by just in time. Woo! Mm. Oh, oh my gosh. Oh, So there we are. There we are. Um, yeah, that's thank you, Oz, for sending that. Thank you. That is so devastating. Absolutely, Starfire. That is devastating. I was beyond words for a moment, as loquacious as I am. But thank you for that, Starfire. Okay, let's see. Vine Dressers Branch, hello. I saw a report that the captain could control the ship. Hmm. Hmm. Well, if any of you guys have any information that you want to share or send, please do. Because my blood is running so, and this story has got me into such an exciting place. There was so much that I would have liked to have gone in slowly. But what I will do is, as I begin to put some of the other stories together that I already have, uh, and I tag them, you guys will be able to see it. Hold on, I have a message. Oh, send you a link. Hold on, let me send you the link. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because there are some stop sharing this. Hold on a second. All right. There are so many other pieces, you guys, that we would have to look at because to me, none of this stuff stands by itself. Because let's keep our minds in this pattern. Um, let's keep our minds in this pattern. Keep your mind in the pattern that says that there is a great um, takeover. That there is a great takeover because this is that whether we want to accept it. However, a lot of you guys that follow me, you already know what this is. The only thing is how do you leave the world behind? That's the only question. How do you leave it behind? How do you leave this place behind? Let me give you guys the opportunity to see some of the comments that you all have put here. You guys come in and put uh, comments, and I need to be able to make sure that they're seen. Okay. So let's see here. All right. Rico5377 says order out of chaos. Carrie Richardson's love the biblical view. Alan Girls, some Boston ports are owned by China, and mayor of Boston is Chinese. Wow. Is it Ravenator? I wouldn't believe too much from Giver or the governor. I believe you mean Governor Moore. Yes. Okay. Just recheck the Uber app, and and the restaurant is literally straight across from the Francis Key Bridge. This is such a bummer. There's a lot of good Mexican spots around us that had that fire. Okay. Thank you for that. The U.S. corporation, absolutely. Just sent you an accident video. Thank you for that video. You guys rock. Thank you. Yes, absolutely, Carrie. Yep, Greenleaf, you're spot on. You're spot on. Good afternoon, Felicia Chatters. Zeb, hey. Yeah, I thought the same thing, but when you ask yourself, why is it international? International because it's all a part of one, because it's a part of oneness, you know? If any of you guys want to come up, let me know. Um, hey, brother.
Hey,
Let me put on my headphones. How you doing? I'm glad to have you here because, biblically, there's a lot of stuff that's significant here, and it's so funny sometimes you find people who don't want to deal with the biblical piece. Although I know our chats that we have here, they want to see the biblical significance because a lot of times people have already seen it before we ever bring it up, and it's generally going to be a confirmation to what they've seen. Do you agree to that?
yeah, you hit it on the head with Ezekiel 26 and Ezekiel 27 in reference to Revelation 18, in reference to the maritime
Mm-hmm.
industry being the industry that falls. And as far as the biblical prophecy is concerned, that collapse is what brings on the quote unquote biblical end times, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
You hit it on the head when you were talking about the city of Tyre and all of the port cities of the ancient world in relation to the modern day port cities. It's it's actually spot on, and it's very telling, and it's very eye opening. And if you have your eyes already open, it's time to wait. It's time to stand up. Like this is the time. And if it's not the time, we're definitely at the precipice of the time.
Hmm.
Um, these are alarms that are sounding and ringing, um, blaring, even to let us know, or even okay, I'll go here to let certain elites know that these are stages or phases that we're about to cross thresholds into going into the next phase, the next stage. And it's evident, it's clearly evident. And if you don't understand the evidence, the body of evidence that you're looking at, if you just pay attention and start deciphering, just picking apart things like I see you doing, it becomes very apparent. And I quote, when you follow the money.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, but oh no, no, go ahead, please,
No, I
please.
was just saying it's absolutely important to follow the money because I think, every single bit of this is all about mammon. Every inch of it is nothing that's done that doesn't gain, that doesn't bring anyone any financial gain that they're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they're just doing it because they want to. It's all because of the money, and it's all because of you know the power that the money brings them, and it's definitely a plan. The mall that I was talking about was built 10 years ago, and now it's closing down. And the funny thing is that that particular mall in New York, let me show you guys the mall in New York. Hold on. The mall in New York that is closing down right now was put up 10 years ago, and now they're being sued because the mall company says, we're out of here. Um, let me show it to you guys. Yeah, the MTA is suing the mall giant Westfield after the company notified them it intends to end its lease and cease all operations at the Fulton Center. Now, prior to this happening, I had pulled together some videos dealing with the Fulton Center. Anytime you look at a mall, you already know that malls are going to bring in commerce, and that's something very important. But this mall was put in the area the mall was put in the area solely to make the people believe that this was something that they were going to give them, that this was going to be for the people. It was going to bring jobs. It was going to bring opportunity. It was going to bring all this stuff in. But bingo, bango, let's look at it. Here's the introduction of it, and I'm going to show you what they sold them as the bill of goods. This was the bill of goods that they sold them back during that time. Okay. This was from this was from the Transportation Authority there in New York. So let me give it to you guys and let me show you exactly what I'm talking about when I say, as Ronnie just got through mentioning, the following of the money. Because it's easy to give you 10 years to have something where you can go in and buy yourself some outfits and take your family to a nice movie or to a nice meal. For 10 years, you're going to think this was all for you because that's what they used your tax dollars to do. But in essence, that ain't what this was about at all. Here it is. They are about to close it down. So let me show you here. Is this the video? Is this the video? That's it right there. There we go. Can you guys see it over there? I think you can.
What I remember the most about this project, in addition to the challenges of completing it, is the unique architecture and the interplay between architecture and art that gives this location its special meanings, particularly vis-a-vis the fact that on 9/11 we suffered incredible destruction, and now the revival of this thing gives me great pleasure to see it.
I already know the music was already going to have me flagged for this, so that's okay. But I do want to show you another portion of this mall shortly after. Okay, let me take you here. Yeah, I mean, beautiful idea, right? It was a wonderful idea to have this. It was great. Now, here is the coming soon. We already saw the other piece, so that's enough of the coming soon. Here it is right here, where the retail giant
complex in Manhattan wants
let me
out of
give you
its
this to
lease.
you for the news. We'll take it to YouTube so you guys can see it. Let me pause it here. And I'll share that with you guys because this is my point. I just want to drive the point home that everything is dealing with money and how they frame the things you currently have to show you that here we're doing this for you. Once this mall is closed, baby, it's on and popping. That's all I want you to understand is it will be on and popping. Here you go.
Retail complex in Manhattan wants out of its lease, blaming rampant crime in New York City. The Fulton Transit Center integrated 5 subway stations serving 9 lines when it opened in 2014. Real estate company Westfield has managed and operated the property since then, but with 10 years still on their lease.
Notice the water around this map, if you will. We got to look at it from where we're coming from, all right? Notice the water. Notice the water, baby. Maritime, notice it.
Transit Center integrated 5 subway stations serving 9 lines when it opened in 2014. Real estate company Westfield has managed and operated the property since then, but with 10 years still on their lease, they say they're concerned about public safety and security. But the MTA is not letting them back out of the lease without a legal fight. Eyewitness News reporter Anthony Carlo live in Lower Manhattan with the details. Anthony.
David, I've spoke to some subway riders and people who work here at the Fulton Center. They tell me rampant homelessness is of greatest concern to them. One worker who works in a coffee shop here tells me at one time she had to practically hide a woman out inside her store to prevent her from being stalked and harassed. And as you mentioned, a number of quality life concerns here at the Fulton Transit Center have caused its retail management company to break its lease with the MTA. Westfield, according to filings in federal court, wants out only 10 years into its 20-year agreement. The MTA is now suing the retail management company for breaking that lease, but Westfield says the Transportation Authority is not properly maintaining public safety at the transit hub. The mall giant has told the MTA multiple tenants have left, citing break-ins, theft, vandalism, harassment, and assault. Of course, all of this comes as the National Guard and state police, as we've been reporting, have been deployed across the subway system to make riders feel safe after a spate of high-profile transit crimes. Retail theft is up more than 4% in New York City so far this year. And though one coffee shop worker at the Fulton Center says theft isn't really what she's most concerned about, there are other pressing safety issues. Some subway riders say they actually try to avoid taking the train here altogether because of it.
The real problem is homelessness here. That you could just look out the window and just see people just roaming around. It probably lessened because of it's getting nicer outside, but during the winter months, it's a lot.
It's always scary, as a girl, I always go by myself everywhere. And I always had to pay attention. I never feel safe to walk just in this street. It was supposed to be safe for us.
Now, the MTA issued this comment about its lawsuit against Westfield saying, quote, "While we are unable to comment on specific pending litigation, we have full confidence in the NYPD, which has surged officers into the subway to ensure safety across the transit system, including at the Fulton Center." Now, we have reached out to Westfield to get a comment from them on this story. That coffee shop worker you heard from, she says she's been here 3 months. She has seen a police presence and a security guard presence in the time she's been here. We see some security officers and cops here today. That worker tells me she feels the kiosk workers are most exposed to theft because they are inside the center with really no other protection to keep them safe.
Okay, so now we saw that. I also want to bring up the next thing that we're looking at, and it's not that. It's definitely not that. I don't want to look at him. And by him, I mean the whole Diddy thing, because look, Diddy does have something to do with this, because if you look, you got some great and powerful people running out, right? running out and going elsewhere. This cat's place was taken over yesterday when they went in. The Homeland Security went in and got a hold of three of his properties, two that we definitely know of, and one that I heard was a rumor. And I have not been able to verify that, only because I've been pulling these pieces together today. Um, and purposefully waited to do the Diddy story until this evening after sundown, because I knew that there'd be more information. But nonetheless, he does have a little bit to show, because, see, great and powerful people that have been used as pawns, as the useful idiots, as it were, to do the things that they thought that they could do against others. These individuals definitely have a role. They definitely have a place. It's the large people, the big folks, who think that they are going to get over, and they're not. Even when they go underground, I believe there's going to be something great and catastrophic underground and bring them out, and the people on top will be all right. But nonetheless, here is something that Ronnie sent to me, because we had been talking prior to this about this. This was what I found so striking, Ronnie. And remember, you guys, I mentioned the bill just came back last week, Friday, I believe it was.
The bill came back Friday.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the bill came back Friday for a total of a whopping $1.2 trillion for advancement of the U.S. infrastructure. Of course, including highways, roads, and bridges. And so to me, it's just ironic. I'll say ironic. It's just ironic that this bill just came back on Friday. 3.5 days later, Monday morning, Monday night, Tuesday morning, this happens to a very a major significant corridor of a bridge. Mind you, the Francis Scott Key.
It says President Joe Biden signed the $1.2 trillion Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act into law on November 15th. Over the next few years,
right.
Yeah, but we know that it was obviously pushed through. We saw it on Friday. Everybody here saw it Friday. As far as, of course, we know that there's a matriculation period. First it goes here, then it goes here, then it goes here, and then bingo, bango, there you go. All righty. In November, over the next few years, states will get multi-billion-dollar windfall investments in physical infrastructure to build roads, bridges, and public transit, clean water and wastewater systems, electric vehicle charging networks, and high-speed internet through investors can work with a financial advisor to capitalize on these dynamics in their portfolios.
Absolutely.
States themselves will get varying amounts of that cash influx. Let's break down how much money your state could get from Congress. Now, we know that it will get from Congress, okay, barring anything that they may have cut apart. But anyway, the White House, go.
Well, I was just saying, scroll down to Maryland.
Okay, let's scroll down. Let's just cut to the chase.
Scroll down to Maryland. Down to Maryland.
Let's go to Maryland.
And check out what they are bringing to the table. So when you pull up Maryland, they are allotted 7.4. I mean, just roughly, pretty much.
Yeah, it is,
$7.4 billion, and listen to this: 409 million of it is for bridge replacement and repairs. So just in the nick of time. I mean, it's just fast. It's ironic. I'll leave it at that. It's ironic.
Isn't it ironic?
Just a little,
So it says the state could expect to get $4.1 billion in highway aid, $409 million for bridge replacement and repairs, and $1.7 million over 5 years to improve the public transportation, $63 million over 5 years to expand their electric vehicle charging networks, and $100 million in broadband infrastructure. Investments is $7.9 million over 5 years to protect against wildfires, $15.9 million to protect against cyber attacks, $844 million over 5 years to improve water infrastructure, and $158 million over 5 years for airport development. Now, The funny thing is, okay, let's say, for example, there are a whole bunch of bridges.
Burn off. Okay, no, go ahead.
We get that one bridge, I want my money first. Not to say that they had anything to do with this, of course. I'm just saying, we'll get the first allotment. Not only was it done, now we're ready to go ahead and rebuild. My question is, I really want to see exactly when we will expect the United States part in uh, the maritime bridge that's being done for Israel, because there is evidence that shows, and I pulled this up. There's evidence that shows that the United States, I should say, the United States is in partnership with this building of the bridge, of this maritime bridge. However, it was secret for a minute, so much so that there are some reports from different news articles that show that it was a secretive partnership, that the United States, and to everybody from the front, didn't even have any idea that the United States had a part of this. But as you read through some of them, it'll say the secret relationship between the United States and Israel to build XYZ. So all of these things, again, if you follow the money, ain't nobody doing nothing for nothing. Nobody's going to give up, partnership with anybody for nothing. And the only reason why we're seeing now somebody say, well, shame on them for having this many people harmed over there, is because we know what time it is. It's an election year. And the same thing that happened with the election year mindset in the state of Georgia, dealing with this whole entire kangaroo court thing that's going on with the former president. And again, not necessarily, and I don't necessarily agree with this cat, but what I'm saying is you can see a kangaroo when you see a kangaroo. If you know a kangaroo when you see it, you ain't got to be on either side. Okay, all you got to do is get your box of popcorn and sit there and watch it, because that's exactly what it is. But we even said in that situation, because if you follow the money, you know what's up, that nothing would become of it. I would not be shocked if the judge said, well, just going ahead and do XYZ, because it's an election year, not just for him, but several others. So it's all about protecting the money. It's all about, here goes some money. It's all about, let me get my money first, which if we're looking at this situation, it could very well be, let me get my money first. Or you guys already know you approved it, so let us go ahead and get our money first. And all of the companies that stand to gain are
That's exactly.
all of the companies that stand to gain. Is unbelievable. Let's look at that.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and it's so you have to understand, we're as Americans, or as America is concerned, we are operating on an what, 80 plus year infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, like the infrastructure was put in place after World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the roads, all the highways, all the all the electrical grids, things like that. Man, it's almost 100 years old. So
Mm-hmm.
like, and then we have these up and coming Arab states that are
Mm.
light years ahead of us. They have technology. They have all the fiber optics. Like, they're all underground. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
everything's solar. Everything's it's just high tech in comparison to our cave era, electrical grid. And we're long overdue for get propping it back up, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
but so what I'm saying is, like, all of these companies that are in play, like, who's at the front of the line? Who's at the front of the line? Follow the money.
Well, let's take a look at this. Okay, so if the entire Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore were to collapse, here are some of the things. So you've got construction company and engineering firms, companies involving in the emergency response, the recovery, and the reconstruction efforts could see or would see a surge in demand for their services. And this could lead to an increased stock prices for those firms. Now, if you remember a few years ago, 4 years ago, when we first had the entire shutdown of the United States and all the different, areas of the world, there were certain areas that hurt because of the shutdown. And the main thing was home builders were not able to get all of the items that they needed to build the homes, because a lot of those companies went down, and a lot of the home builders ended up having to charge more for the homes because the parts and the items that they needed to build the homes, the price increased, they said. So now, transportation and logistic companies, shipping and transportation companies that rely on the bridge for transporting goods would face significant disruptions and potentially incur higher costs for alternative routes. This could lead to decreased stock prices for these companies in the short term. It could
Absolutely.
also, yeah. So let's go
So
on.
so
Go
so
ahead.
we're
Go
looking
ahead.
we're looking at the downfall or the potential spiral, even of mom and pop,
Mm,
but
absolutely.
the skyrocket
Hmm.
in corporation.
Absolutely. The infrastructure and material companies that provide the materials for building and repairing the bridges, such as the steel and the concrete manufacturers, would likely benefit from increased demand. Now, the question is, who owns those companies? Okay, who are the major players in those companies? This could also result in higher stock prices for these companies. My question is, who knew and how much has somebody invested just recently in any of these companies? That takes you just want to take a look at it. Now, the tourism and the hospitality companies, you're going to see if this, obviously because of the collapse of this bridge, it could have significant impact on the tourism to the area, which is going to obviously, have lower stock prices for some of those companies that are in the hospitality sector because people aren't going to be coming in and out. The local businesses, to your point, Ronnie, some of the companies that are located near that bridge that rely on it for customer traffic, which is the middle cat, not the big cat, because the big cats, they don't have an issue coming back in to take care of all of the construction workers that's going to be needing to come in and out. They don't have a problem with any of that. But the middleman is not going to be able to deal with this for too long, especially if they were dealing with traffic coming in and out of that area. That's going to
Exactly.
potentially, most of those companies that are mom and pop are not necessarily open to the public. So these aren't open stock companies, but it would definitely prevent them from making the revenue that they are generally,
Right.
used to having to keep their livelihood afloat. Now,
And
given
not
the
to and not to
go.
mention not to mention the cargo channel that stopped up.
Oh my goodness. Oh my, this is like this is like 9/11 and COVID all wrapped into one.
So there are at least 8, 9, 10 cargo vessels that are inside of the Baltimore port that can't get out and will remain there for an unforeseen amount of time,
And those
days.
goods aren't coming off of that ship, right? Off of those vessels, right?
Oh no, oh no, oh no.
So all the
Well,
goods
no.
that are there
Well,
are
well,
just going to be
all
sitting
the
there.
goods that were going to come off are being taken off or have already been taken off, and all of the ones that have been loaded to be exported out are just sitting. So this far reaches just this community, because where is it going? I think it was going to Sri Lanka.
Yeah,
So
yeah, Sri
so
Lanka
so
and a couple of other places.
so the economy over there is about to be slumped for a couple weeks, and when it's slumped for a couple weeks, that equivocates on a global scale months, months, and then the resounding impact financially,
Mm-hmm.
could be years,
Mm-hmm.
depending
Hmm.
on how much and how it reverberates. It
It
reverberates.
reverberates. It does. It's like a rippling effect. The whole entire thing is this big rippling effect. And I do have to point out again that time and time again we've seen issues take place with bridges and with highways, and as a signal that was coming from the time that we first started seeing it all the way up to now, it's now coming right to your door. It's like
Mhm.
right at your door because a lot of these companies that utilize this stuff, you know, I, I don't believe that a lot of the stuff, unless they're going to use it as a tax write off, I don't believe that a lot of. No, I'm not even going to go there right now. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna
Well,
leave that. I'm gonna leave that
I
right
mean,
there.
on another side, I mean, on another tangent, like thanks to the trusty Big Brother Fed and the entire federal government, and Biden's excellent timing in implementing this bill back in November, so it is in play now. Like the saviors are here.
Absolutely.
The same years I hear.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is that in personified. It's definitely the way that we always know about the Hegelian dialectic. You cause the problem and you pose the problem, you cause a problem, then here I got a solution for you. Here you go. Uh except the solution obviously in this case was done, you know, was done long ago, as I showed with the 10 years on this particular mall being there. Beautiful mall, by the way, wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you say that that was sort of state of the art?
Oh, that was top notch. That was top notch.
Yeah, it was top notch. And so these are the types of things I want everybody to look at going forward. But the biblical indication that we read today was significant. And as long as you understand that it all ties in together,
Right, right.
you won't go wrong. What do you
And
think
that,
about that?
well, that's why I'm speaking on the specific aspects that I am, because you hit it on the head as well. Once again, this is all mammon. This is all
Absolutely.
mammon. That's
Absolutely.
so that's why I'm harping on the money. Well, of course, you should always follow the money, but
Hmm.
at the same time, in relation to the end time prophetic, and I, I'll even go dark on you real quick, doomsday prophecies,
Oh
and
yeah.
things of that nature. Like, it all is based on mammon, specifically
Oh yeah. Yeah.
specifically the maritime industry. Please go back and scrutinize the text in regards to Revelation 18, when it's giving you the litany of goods, that's the global trade. That is
Hmm.
absolutely the
Hmm.
maritime industry. That is absolutely the global trading industry, the imports and exports. And like I said, they got that playbook right out of Ezekiel 24, pardon me,
26 and
6 and
27.
27.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And he's telling you the same thing. And that is the call of for a lamentation unto Tyre, the city of
Hmm.
Tyre.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
like, I'm
Here,
gonna
I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna pull
I'm
up
okay.
Ezekiel
Well,
26.
I'm gonna pull up a map so we can see exactly what we're
Oh
talking
yeah,
about.
give me the map.
All
Give
right,
me the
I'll be
map.
right back. I'll be right back.
Yeah, yeah. You guys, like we shared, we always want to use the biblical context to look at exactly what's going on, because to me, that's like our compass, as it were. It shows us that we're headed in the right direction. It shows us that when you're thinking of something by yourself and you don't have anybody else to bounce something off of, that you're in the right direction. When you get an idea and you're like, wait a minute, is that? I don't know. No, you're in the right direction. Don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt yourself at all, because generally when you get that thought, that's for your own security, your own safety. That's for you to understand exactly what's up. Whenever you see something like that, whenever you're getting those ideas, could it be that passage? It most assuredly is that passage. It most assuredly is. So here you see what we read earlier, Ezekiel 26 and Ezekiel 27. I want you guys to make sure that you go there, because it says in verse 17 of 26 Ezekiel, and they will take up lamentations for you and say to you, how you have perished, O one inhabited by seafaring men, a renowned city. Everything deals with port cities because that's commerce. That's commerce. And when you consider the verse that we're talking about in Revelation 18, they're talking about they could see it from afar off. And in that movie, which is the backdrop of where you see us right here, this backdrop, that backdrop is from that movie, Leave the World Behind. When those two ships, the ship that we just got through seeing this morning and the ship in Leave the World Behind, if you juxtapose those ships together, let me see if I do an overlay, if you're able to see what I'm saying. Let me see if I do an overlay. Will it take me off the air or will it let you guys see it? Hold on. Here is the overlay. That's the background. Here is the overlay. So you guys can see what I'm referring to. Right. Overlay, overlay. Right there. You see that? The first one was the white lion, and it had 1619 was one of the scanners on this movie. One of the scanners on the movie was 1619. Let me see if you guys can still hear me. Mods, can you still hear me? Let me know if I'm still up. Let me know if I'm still up, if you can still hear me with this overlay on. But the movie showed a scanner in the movie, and it had 1619 on it. And it was the White Lion, which is a Chinese owned ship, Chinese owned fleet, I would imagine. You can hear me, 5x5 blessings. Um, good, Cindy. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Leslie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Cindy. So this in this favor, they favor. But if you haven't watched that movie, I suggest you go watch it. For those of you who, like myself, had gotten rid of your Netflix, if you got it free with your cell phone bill, watch the movie. Because this overlay right here and what you see on the first side that you see on the left is the container ship that hit the bridge this morning. What you see on the right is from the movie Leave the World Behind. This particular ship in that movie went all the way up to that sand and sat there.
And it just so happens to be the White Lion.
And it just so happens to be the White Lion. And the 1619 was the actual time frame that they, the United States, brought in some of their first slaves that came in, I believe, through Virginia. I could be wrong, but I believe it was through Virginia. Because as you guys...
New Hampton, Virginia,
Hampton.
Fort Comfort.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and the ship was the White Lion.
Mm-hmm. The ship was the White Lion. And this is the ship White Lion in this movie. Okay. So anyway, that is exactly what is up with that, and how we're looking at the world, and how we're looking at what is that? What do they call it? The life imitating art, or the imitation of life and art, or between the two. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. So, so nonetheless, that's exactly what this is. This is exactly what they're telling you when they said when Barack Obama and his wife, as executive producers of the movie, or of that movie, Leave the World Behind, did that. This cat is brilliant in that he does nothing by accident. He doesn't waste his time and do anything. And if you guys don't understand the form of why I say brilliant, there are a lot of diabolical minds out there that are brilliant. You got a lot of folks out there that are brilliant. So please understand what I'm saying. This man does not waste his time and do something with any of his change, none of his coins, if it didn't have any significance. And if you have not seen that movie for whatever the reason, watch it. Just watch it. Go
Right.
ahead,
Every frame has a meaning. Every line has a meaning. Every
man.
still has a meaning.
In the beginning of that movie, absolutely. The very beginning of that movie had
so pull
a
up
meaning.
that map. Pull up that map real quick.
Okay, you put it in the back chat?
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
I see it. Okay, there we go.
Yes, ma'am. So when you look at this map, well, let me pull it up as well.
Okay, when you look at the map.
Okay, well, let me pull it up.
Where's the map?
Okay, so when you look up that map, I have it pinned. I have it pinned. Oh, did it not pull up the exact one?
Which one is it? You pinned it? It didn't give us the pinned it.
Just pull up Israel in general.
Haifa, or you said Israel? Haifa?
Yeah, just pull up any one of those.
Okay.
Let me see.
Let's do this one. That one?
I don't know. Let's look. Okay, great. So so when you see Haifa?
Yeah, I see it right here.
Okay. So can you scroll up a little bit?
You mean make it
North?
bigger?
Zoom
like
out
there?
just a tinge, and then go up north, and then show north.
Can you see this?
Yes. Go north.
You got the wrong person trying to fumble around with a map.
Well, can I?
Yeah, I'll give you control. Let me give you control. I don't know how to give you control. You have to request control, I think. If you request control, I can give you control. Or maybe I can just try to figure out how to do north. Let me see how to do north. Okay. View the image. There you go. No, that ain't it either.
Well, when you look at
like that,
yeah, that's the third major city in Israel. Huge city, major city. No, but that's okay. That's fine though. Right there, That is the third major city in Israel. That is one of the premier. That is, if not the premier, one of the more major port cities
Mm. Mm.
in Israel. Right above that is the ancient city of Tyre.
Mm. Which is why you wanted me to go north if I could.
Right above that, if you just pull up Israel, just take Haifa out the equation entirely.
Okay.
Just Google, as far as a map of Israel. I just want it, the visual to, to sink in. Right above that port, that major port,
Hold on, let me change this. Let
is
me
the
do
city of
this.
Tyre. And the lamentations are for the city of Tyre, and that is a metaphor or a reference to the port cities. The port cities. And why am I pinpointing Haifa?
But because I know Homeboy was talking about it specifically.
Your boy.
Yeah, not Netanyahu.
Okay.
He was
Exactly.
he was the person talking about it goes in half of this and half of that and blah blah blah. Let me see if I can just see this.
That's his prized possession. That's his pride and joy, man. Because
oh yeah.
Because if you don't have a major port city, you're really not hitting on much in this global economy.
Mm-mm. Can you see that? That you can't see that. Good mercy.
Well, just pull up a map. Just pull up a map of Israel. Just pull
Okay,
up a
let's
map
do
of
that.
Israel.
Let's do that.
And then zoom in, and then look right north of Haifa. You're gonna see you're gonna see the city of Tyre, and I'm just using that as a reference point to let you know, to let you see.
Okay, let me see if I do National Geographic if they'll let me see their map.
Just
Let's
right
go
there,
by all. I don't want to use images. Let me just do all. So Israel map. If I do this and see what happens, if they allow me to see just the map itself.
Go to maps.
Okay.
Go to maps.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah. You know what? That's right. Whatchamafigure maps will let me do it too. But anyway, I found something. So let's just see if this will allow me to make it larger. And Google Maps is what I was going to say. Ooh, this is horrible. Syria, Jordan, the West Bank, Israel. Okay. Let's do Google Earth. Sorry. That's the only way I could do this. Google Earth. Okay. No, I don't want to explore nothing. Not Nathan. Yeah, explore it. Yeah. Yeah. Can you see this now?
No, I'm not on that side. I'm looking at.
I think everybody else can see it though. So let me put in Israel. New. What the freak?
Just go to Google.
Okay.
Just go to Google. We're gonna do this together. All right, go to Google.
Okay. Hold on. Okay. Can you guys see this? Please tell
You
me.
won't do it. You won't do it. You just okay. That's fine.
I don't wanna. I want to try it.
So okay. Yeah, I hear you. So zoom in.
Okay.
Zoom in.
I am in the what?
To the west coast of Israel.
So the West is going to be over here.
You see where Jordan is, and then
See
go
Gaza.
go by the
Haifa.
yeah. So
Beirut,
go
Damascus.
north. Go
Keep
north.
going. Tripoli.
Go north.
Okay. Going.
Okay, I don't know if I'm in real time.
Okay. Well, I haven't.
So zoom in.
I'm looking
Zoom
at
in.
Aleppo. Zoom into what?
Yeah, no. Go back down to Israel. Israel. And I'm not in real time, so I'm not looking at you in real time. So forgive me. So
okay, so there's Haifa right there.
Yeah. So just above, you'll see it. Tyre. You got to zoom in. So
I see Beirut. Okay, let me zoom in at Haifa. What is the new name of Tyre?
Tyre.
Tiberius.
Tyre. If okay, so Tyre is just between Haifa and Beirut.
There it is.
Exact middle. Tyre.
I got it. I'm there.
You see that? You see that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So according to Netanyahu, he wants all of that. he wants dominion over all of that. He's trying to get all of that. He wants Jordan. He wants Lebanon. He wants he even wants Syria. He definitely wants the Golan Heights. He definitely wants the West Bank, and of course, the issue going on in Gaza. But all of that is because of the IMEC. All of that is because of he wants all of that. I mean, it's going to boost countrywide national GDP. And it's going to ensure that they have a dominant because money talks. That's going to ensure that they have the dominant presence in that region. And what's fascinating is that the scriptures are telling you that Tyre is going down. Tyre is going down, and when it goes down, you're going to be singing lamentations to it. Never again will you hear the harpist play his harp. Never again will you hear the songster sing his song. Never again will you be, it's just going to be smoke burning forever and ever and ever when it goes down. And when it go, look, when that's why it's the end times. That's why it's the quote unquote end of the world, because it is the end of the financial world as we know it. And once your money doesn't mean anything, now what? And that's what's actually going on. But they have that's what's actually going on, biblically. But as far as why I'm pinpointing this port right here is because of the IMEC. The IMEC is what they are establishing like right now. The India, Middle East, European Economic Corridor. And they're establishing this right now. Look it up. Well, I'm sure a lot of people know this, but what I'm saying is connecting the dots and tying in these things is on a whole other level. And when we understand what's going on, we understand, like, now we know what I'm saying specifically when I say follow this money. When you follow this money, we're on something totally different. So I'm gonna ask if I can share my screen.
Well, I've got the India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor up right now. Share your screen, and as you're looking to share it, I'll go ahead and start to read here. The India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor is a planned economic corridor that aims to bolster economic development by fostering connectivity and economic integration between Asia, the Persian Gulf, and Europe. The corridor is proposed from India to Europe through the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel, and Greece. Signing date and place on September 10th, my birthday, 2023, the Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, was signed during the 2023 G20 New Delhi Summit by the governments of India, United States, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, France, Germany, Italy, and the European Union. The project was launched to bolster transportation and communication links between Europe and Asia through rail and shipping networks, and is seen as a counter to China's Belt and Road Initiative. The Memorandum of the Understanding document has only mapped out the potential geography of the corridor and will compete against the Suez Canal. Case in point to the Suez Canal. Remember when we were basically babysitting, according to them, quote unquote, babysitting the Suez Canal and then handed it back to them when it had absolutely no hope of going any further and had all the blockage up here a couple of years ago where it was not receiving any, it was like, what happened when they had like something was stuck? Wasn't something like a ship was stuck in the Suez Canal? And then it was like before then they had already thrown it back to them for them to handle it themselves. Don't forget that piece. It says the project has been delayed due to the 2023 Israel-Hamas war. However, it's not. The reason why you see that is because they're clearing the way. So they never, by they I mean they never do anything with just showing one reason for something. They will strip down a cow till it ain't nothing. Even the hoof has a reason. You know what I mean? Every piece of it has a reason. So it's going on now. Even though they say, oh, it's been delayed. No, this is how it's getting done. Right? So they're getting rid of whom they don't like. And they're also getting ready to build, they're making the infrastructure because you got to have that way cleared. All right. In September of 2023, this is a reaction. 2023 September, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan criticized Erdogan. Isn't that the cat's name up there in New York? Anyway, criticized the project for bypassing Turkey and has vowed for an alternative route, the Iraq Development Road Project, which all roads are going to lead to Rome, no matter what you do. Every single bit of this is all leading to Rome. And I don't mean the literal physical Rome you thinking about. I'm thinking about all roads lead to the same place for them, which is envisaged to connect the Persian Gulf with Europe through a railway and highway via ports in the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and Iraq, including the under construction Grand Fa port. Everything is dealing with ports. Nothing is not dealing with ports because the port cities are the ports are the way to commerce. The ports are the way to commerce. Okay, Ronnie, let's see what you want to share there. Got it. I see it.
You see this map?
To the stage. Yep.
So this is the IMEC map. This is what the game plan is. All of over there in the east and the far east, instead of using China's Belt and Road and the infrastructure that they've implemented, we're going to do a workaround. And we're going to bring everything down to Mumbai in India.
Oh, yes.
And then from there, which is a major port hub, major port hub, we're going to go to the United Arab Emirates. So that's the only sea route. Like and if you notice at this map, we're bypassing the Red Sea entirely.
Why do you think that's significant?
This is very significant. This is very significant because okay, listen, who do we have? Who is the only, basically, besides Israel, nation that we have good standing with over there in what they call the quote unquote Middle East? Saudi Arabia. Everybody else we have issues with. Iran, Yemen, no matter what it is, Iraq. We don't have excellent rapport with them politically. If anything, we might be standoffish or neutral, cordial, if you will. But we have an excellent relationship with Saudi Arabia. Israel in this India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor that they're implementing is going to bypass all of those nations. All of those nations entirely, and which is why, if you ask me, that's why that they're having the beef that they're having in the Red Sea right now. They're retaliating. They're retaliating against what's the undermining of what's actually going on. And Netanyahu is in full charge of this initiative. He's the one, behind the scenes. They, and by they I mean they.
Them. They the ones, they did it.
but he's the one that is championing this initiative. So you go to the king in the United Arab Emirates, and that's going to be a major port and a major hub for everything. That's the first touchdown landing spot for everything in the east, in the Far East. So he only stands to make money. The king, because it's going to the king's port.
Absolutely.
And then from there, what they're going to do, they're building a land bridge. They are bypassing, because right now from Mumbai, they have to go down into Aqaba. They have to go down here into down here by Yemen, and then come in around the Red Sea, and then go up that canal, and then come out of Port Said, which is Egypt. and then now you're in the Mediterranean Sea.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you're following based on
Oh,
this
I'm
map.
tracking. I'm
Okay.
tracking.
Okay, but we're gonna bypass that whole thing, and we're just gonna. What we're gonna do is we're going to go directly to the United Arab Emirates, and then we're gonna set up shop through Saudi Arabian desert. Right now, currently, they are building. Listen to this: a $26 billion land bridge
Mm-hmm.
from the United Arab Emirates, and then of course they got to go to their to their capital city. So
Mm-hmm.
it's going to go through their capital city straight up to Haifa.
Mm. Nothing is by accident.
But this is the thing. You don't hear a lot about the West Bank, but they got to go through the West Bank to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So the alternative is to go through Gaza, because Gaza has a port too, but they're not allowed to use it.
Mm. Mm.
So if you ask me, there's stuff going on behind the scenes as to why there's actual conflict going on that has nothing to do with the general public perception and or mass media approach to the narrative, which there always is. But I mean, I'm specifically laying out via this map what it is. I think this is the ball game. And then, of course, from Haifa, we can bypass Egypt. We didn't hit Iran at all. We didn't hit Iraq. All we did was partner with our longtime partner, Saudi Arabia, and and they have all the oil anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and the United Arab Emirates, and then of course Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
They get a piece of the pie, but they're beyond imagination rich over there. So it's good to partner with them, and all they understand is the language of money anyway. So if we can find a way to bypass the current status quo and then create our own, yeah, I'm game. I'm game for that. And this is exactly what's going on. So now that we hit the port at Israel, it's straight Mediterranean Sea. From there, we're going straight to Greece, and then from Greece, we're going straight to Italy. From Italy, we're going straight to Europe. From Europe, we're going straight to New York, straight to the port of Norfolk, the port of Virginia, straight to the port of Baltimore, straight to. And we bypass, because right now, what this map isn't showing. I guess if you pulled up the world map like you were trying to do,
forget you, Ronnie.
but no, that's on me. But listen, what we're doing now is we're going from Mumbai, and we have to go all the way down the port of the Horn of Africa, all the way down south to South Africa, around there, and then travel all the way back up the Atlantic to hit Miami. And then Miami to Savannah, and then Savannah to maybe Charleston, to the port of Virginia, to the port of Baltimore, to the port of New York, and then back to either Africa or back to the European nations. And that's what we're having to do, and that is causing the costs to double and triple even. But we can bypass it, and there are, like, if you do the research, you'll see them building right now this land bridge, and it's this. So what's the land bridge? It's a massive rail system. It's a massive rail system that's going straight through the desert, and they're building right now as we speak. Just railroad. So this thing is not just a myth or a nice pie in the sky that maybe one day will. They're aiming for this, and in the meantime, they have to get the infrastructure. Israel has to lay down, the foundation, and maybe they need Gaza, maybe they need the West Bank, maybe they need a portion of Jordan to accomplish their goal. Maybe they even need that nice little chunk over there by the Suez Canal, and then maybe they need Port Said itself. That's all I'm saying. So I think this is the game. Well, this is the game, but I think this is the game that is actually causing the trade with the winds of the current climate in the global politics.
Hmm. I have to agree. I have to agree. And I believe that because it wouldn't, listen, all of these pieces all go together. And unless you're really focused on it, and unless you're really privy to what it is that the plan is, see, that's the important thing is understanding there's a plan. Once you know there's a plan and you begin to see the pieces come together, then nothing should shock you. And I know that everybody here, nothing shocks you, but excuse me. What I've just finished up off the topic is putting together everything for you guys um, as far as the notes, the liner notes that are going to be inside here for all of the reference points. Everything that we've cited today is all going to be down below in the description. All the way to something that we just touched base on, that Ronnie just touched base on, and that's this right here, the Abrahamic Accord. Hold on just a moment. Let me let you guys see this because this is very important. And when you get this, I want you guys to scroll all the way down to the bottom and you'll see the downloads from the declaration that's affixed, Israel Bahrain agreement, and then it's going to also have the Israel and Morocco agreement. It's also going to have Israel and the UAE, the Sudan agreement as well. So all of these agreements, which are exactly what we're talking about right now, is going to be down below in the description because I just picked them all up off of this little thingy right here, and I'm going to drop them down in there in a few minutes and as far as the whole video was concerned so that you have it. But when you look at anything, it's always going to give you the face of what it is, right? The same way that we talked about that MTA mall, that mall that's being, that now this company is being sued for, saying that they want to close down because of all the robberies and the break-ins. These things all have a reason for being built. Nothing is ever what it seems. It may come out, well, we're going to do this for your health and your safety and your security. Monitoring this point right here, and that is what was told to the New Yorkers when they pulled the whatchamafigums in there instead of the police. You got a whole police force that you could have go down into the subways, but instead you take from your state resources and you pull your state resources. And the fact about it was when they put those soldiers down in the subway, they only did it for 1 hour and then they closed up shop and then they went away and then they came back. So it was not this constant presence, and it wasn't where any of the offenses were taking place. None of them were on the actual trains. They were at a place checking regular citizens. That's what people need to realize. All of this stuff is a piece of the big plan. And the big plan, of course, is to have everybody under martial law, because if you see troops underground, that's an extension of a martial law type thing. So you've got all these folks that are now thinking, oh, we're going to be safe. Yes, it's for your safety and your security. But you're giving up all your freedom. You're opening up your backpacks. You just trying to get to work, man. You ain't going. Listen, the cash that you need to be getting is the cash that you let over here. But of course, because this is really the plan to get my mind prepared for me to be searched every single where I go in the police state, I got to give up my freedom. Meanwhile, you got the cat you brought over here that's unfortunately cutting people's throats, literally, the conductors on these trains, molesting and bothering the people who are on these trains. You're going after these people who are on the trains, on the train, but we're going to run this, and it's going to be the governor's call. It's not going to be the mayor's call, who it should be. It's going to be the governor's call. Yeah, it's the governor's call. So all of this stuff, including the Abrahamic Accords, is going to be down below in the description for you guys to ponder over a little bit later. And I'm going to tell you, these are some amazing times. Please, if you've not already seen that movie that I referenced a few times, go and see it. If you don't have, whatchamafigum, if it's not given to you for free with your telephone company like mine is, I got it for free. Through T-Mobile gives you a few of these little companies that you're not going to pay for, right? That's Netflix. They give you Hulu, and then they give you whatever TV, the eyeball TV. What's that company? Apple TV. So that's how I see it. And so if you guys get that and you have that, get them to give you your free thingy, and then you don't have to pay for it because you're already paying your bill. And go there and look for Leave the World Behind, because all of this plays a role. But don't look at the movie without getting a plan to get on. They just had another subway shooting the other day, even with all the checkpoints. Well, you know what, El Chavez, with your pretty thumbnail, they're not those checkpoints really are of no consequence, because the checkpoints have nothing to do with what's really going on. It has nothing to do with what's really going on. That's the sad part. Those people are not on the trains. They are standing there with tables. And as they're standing there with the tables are checking people randomly. So maybe every 30th person or every 11th person. Those are the people who are popping up. Okay? So inside logistics is what Ronnie has just pulled up. Go ahead and share this with us.
Yeah, well, I mean, speaking, on that note, these logistics are very telling, are extremely telling, and you have to follow the money, and you have to follow the trail. And okay, let me pull it up on my end so I can read this real quick. So the Zim line, you know what the Zim line is? The Zim line is a shipping line, and why I'm talking about this is because we just talked about the IMEC and who is championing that IMEC. It's the Prime Minister of Israel. The Zim line is the shipping line, is the Israeli shipping line. It's called the Zim. Zion's, it's Zion. It's the Zion shipping company. So and like you said, hitting the nail on the head, everything deals with maritime in the end times. I'm going to say that again, very adamantly and very staunchly. Everything is dealing with maritime in the end times. Zim Israel moved its North American headquarters to Norfolk, Virginia. I need you to understand this, because logistically, Norfolk, Virginia it has the biggest naval base in the world. It has one of the largest port shipping ports in North America, outside of New York. They moved to Norfolk, Virginia. Just earlier this year, they moved from Norfolk, Virginia to Virginia Beach, Virginia. They have this grand palatial headquarters now, but they moved in Norfolk, Virginia. So can you see this? Can you see this? The screen? Because I want to show you when they did this. You see this, right? This
Yes,
was
where it says Zim Israel.
moves its North American base headquarters to Norfolk, Virginia, and look at look when this was. This was in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
So check it. So Zim's North American headquarters, the North American headquarters of Zim Israel Navigation Company Limited, the world's 9th largest shipping company, will be moving to Norfolk from New York. Zim American Israeli Shipping Company Incorporated will be relocating from the 16th floor of the World Trade Center in Manhattan to a $6.2 million building in the Lake Wright Executive Center in Norfolk.
And what month of 2001 was
so
this,
let me go ahead and tell you. Let me go ahead and tell you. This took place. The company expects to open its new building by September 4th and will eventually employ 235 people. So this is what I'm going to emphatically say. The Zim line moved its North American headquarters to Norfolk, Virginia from the World Trade Center on September 4th, 2001.
Oh, boy.
1 week before the infamous September 11th, 2001. 1
Mm-hmm.
week to the date.
Mm-hmm.
How are they in the know to do this?
They're just so brilliant. I mean, some of these people are so insightful. They just know exactly what needs to be done, when it needs to be done. And I'm sure they had absolutely no idea what was going to go on. But the fact is, they're brilliant. I mean, come on,
So
Ronnie.
they're and then NATO just moved their North America their headquarters. NATO,
Mm.
the NATO moved their
Hmm.
moved their headquarters to Norfolk, Virginia. Norfolk, Virginia is it seems like that's going to be the hub,
Yeah, that and a part of
the
Colorado.
hub.
It's a big part
And,
of Colorado.
and the Baltimore port is more uh I was going to say efficient, but I don't mean that. Is more is what has more business and
Commerce coming through.
yeah, as
Hmm.
well as New York in comparison to the port of Virginia. But you see what they're doing with New York. You're speaking on it. You're
Hmm.
continuously speaking on it, and then
Hmm.
you see what they just did with Baltimore.
Hmm.
I'm just saying,
Hmm.
man.
Oh
So
yeah.
so you got to follow the money and then the players, and it always seems to be one particular. Well, I'll end there. I'll end there.
No, add what you need to.
You
If
you
there's
you
any.
you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm putting down. But
Oh
that's
yes.
that's crazy information to know.
Yeah, it is.
September 4th, they opened up in Norfolk, Virginia, and then a week later, they dodged a
Mhm.
major bullet.
They dodged it. I'm just telling you, man, they're insightful. These individuals are just so insightful. uh, Salvatore Dali did a painting called The Broken Bridge. Salvador Dali, that's from my sister, just said that Salvador Dali did a painting called The Broken Bridge. It's amazing how well their crystal balls work. LOL. Exactly. I mean, you know what I mean? It's amazing. It's amazing. It's wow. They're just so insightful. They're so insightful. Yeah. So, you guys, I want to thank all of y'all for hanging out, taking out your lunch breaks and the time that you had to hang out with us today. It means a lot to me. And so I just want to tell you guys thank you from the bottom of my heart. Ronnie, I appreciate you all the time. If there's more you want to share, please take the time and give it to us right now. But I just want to tell you guys all of the links that we just had, except for the two that you had, Ronnie, send those to me so that I can put them in because I did it. I did it while we were chatting. I stuck everything down there so that we can look at it for ourselves. Remember, it was so much pouring on me at one time because I was like, oh my goodness, this is what I've been talking about. But look at this and look at that and look at this. I was like a kid in a candy store with every possible direction that I could possibly go, that I couldn't read everything to you. But those links are down below, and you'll be able to go from everywhere from the Abrahamic Accords all the way through everything else that we talked about today. And please understand that there is so much information when you juxtapose the times of the day to biblical text, to the biblical
Absolutely.
text. We use the Old Testament. A lot of people are very familiar with the Revelation 18, which I even did a video on. Babylon is fallen, utilizing that passage from that book and the chapter. But if you look at Ezekiel 26 and Ezekiel 27, as well as several other places, you will find that there is a lot of information that's
Mhm.
telling you what's coming, that's telling you what's happened. This is all afar off. It's not for that particular time. It's all vision of what's to come. Ronnie, you have anything to add?
Well, 2030 is right around the corner, and
2030 is right around the
you
corner.
know that there's agendas and due dates and show and prove dates for 2030. So that what is that? That's 7 years. Just happens to be 7 years from now. So pay
Okay, so let's
attention.
do this. Let's do this.
So
Go.
pay
Let's,
it.
I
So
got
pay it.
something I want to say.
Okay. Well, I was just gonna say, pay attention to the drought, the 7 years of drought. And then prior to, you got the 7 years of plenty when you need to get your hustle on, get yourself together, because after that, there's 7 years of famine and devastation. And
Mhm.
right now, we're in the years of get yourself together.
7 years.
It's incumbent upon
Now,
you.
I want to say this. I got to say this. Whether you're voting for this cat or not, It's of no consequence. I don't have a dog in that hunt. You guys already know I don't vote anymore. But the one thing that I will say is this: if this cat comes back in like we feel he might, 7 years is significant. 3.5 years of plenty. 3.5 years of who the heck is this you voted in? If you thought the last 3.5 years or 4 years, however you want to say it, was amazing at best, you ain't seen nothing yet. If this cat is the cat, or if this cat plays a role in the cat. Just saying. But the 3.5 year mark is important. And from now to 2030, 7 years divided in half, you got 3.5 on each side. Some significant and key points to factor in. The first thing I remember, there's many others, but one thing that comes to mind is I'm the chosen one. And that's a quote. He says, and by him, I mean Mr. Naranga, Mr. Orange. I'm the chosen one. I'm the chosen one. Remember the coin with his face and the syringe and a few other things going around it. Remember these things. Remember these things. That's another piece. Another part is are the Abrahamic Accords and how his hairless cat son-in-law that went from looking like a dude to, you know, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to. Xerxes, out of the 300, he went from looking like a man to Xerxes, minus the nose ring and the earring. He had something to do with that. This is that time. This is that. I'm not saying anybody is the Antichrist. What I'm saying is there is the Antichrist spirit in the land right now. That spirit exists and has. I'm just saying, pay attention, because right now he's being persecuted, because it's just like you could be persecuted. Hey, I'm up here in New York and this happened to me. It could happen to you too. But I'm taking the brunt of it because I am who I am, because I'm the chosen one. Y'all better wake up. Pay attention. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. Okay, let's see. Yesterday, the U.S. refused to sign on to allowing the slaughter in the Middle East in the UN vote. Don't they know there's consequences for opposing the agenda? You never know. Okay, you guys. Take care, you guys. Remember to stay blessed and think of yourself first before you think of anybody else. Take care of you before you think, and don't think about taking care of nobody else. Take care of you first, so that way you can render aid to others. Ronnie, is there anything that you'd like to say before we end?
Yeah, I just want to leave on this note, being that the end times are upon us, one way or another. Definitely look at the fig tree and look at all the trees. When they sprout leaves, you can see for yourselves and know that summer is near. Even so, when you see these things happening, you know that the kingdom of God, the kingdom of Yah,
is at hand.
The kingdom of heaven is near.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here. You know, you guys, y'all have always blessed me. Just your presence, your comments, and everything that you have to say. And today has been no different. I want to thank all of you who watched this from the beginning, and for those of you who are watching in the replay. For those of you who have not had the opportunity to make a comment during this actual session, won't you double back and just leave a comment once we're done? All of your comments, your likes, and all of the sharing actually help to push this video out. Now, there are a lot of people who are maybe handling this video or this incident from a different perspective. But as you know, here we like to come from another perspective. And although it's a very, trying time, and although this is a very bad situation, we know that if we look up and where our hope is coming from, we really don't have to worry about anything, because there's nothing you can do to the physical body when you belong to him that can ever harm you. So all the stuff that we see, everything that we are looking at right now is just an indication that who we know is real is real. That's all this is. But it's also a very exciting time, because we know to look up, for our redemption draws near. And that's the most important piece. Take care of yourselves, then you can turn around and take care of everybody else. And I want you to remember this one thing: take care of my friend, because the next time I see y'all, I'm gonna ask y'all been taking care of my friend, because my friend is you. Before we close, we're going to close obviously with my good friends barbecue. And if you purchase some, let me know.
Hey everyone, it's me, Felicia, of the Lockhart Perspective and Headlines with a Voice. I want to tell you a little secret. This is what I used to do, because I don't do it anymore. I would go to the store, buy the barbecue sauce, pour it inside of a bowl, put a whole bunch of different spices, a dash of brown sugar, a dash of maple, and a dash of mustard, stir it all around, and everybody would be like, oh my gosh, this is the best, this is the best. But I was exhausted after all of that, and a lot of times I couldn't remember how many dashes of what I put in it. But I don't have to do that anymore, because now I just go to Judge Joe Brown's website and I order his 3-pack of bottled barbecue sauce. It is by far the best, and I do mean the best barbecue sauce I've ever eaten. And when you go to his website and you order his 3-pack, you'll see exactly what I mean. Head on over to jjbbbbq.com and order Judge Joe Brown's barbecue sauce. You'll be glad you did, and you're going to tell me about it. I know you will.
Lockhart Perspective.